Good evening and salutations, my B&B fans. So let's start off. Before I even get started, I want to ask a general question about what is it about this show that makes you continue wanting to watch it? Yeah, I know it sounds kind of like a silly question, but I am generally interested in what people still find really interesting about the show, what people still love about this show. Um, because there are certain things in this episode where I'm just like, really? Now, we'll start off with the Bill and Lee part of this story. Because Bill is Smith, they're trying to ask questions to try to get some answers out of her, try to see if he could sit there and get some help. Okay? So at some point, he starts talking about his sons again, and Lee just walks off. Now, of course, that's perfect timing because Liam comes in. And Liam is like, all right, so what's going on with you? You inviting people over? You inviting total strangers over? You had your little philosophical talk earlier. What's you okay? You good? Like, you want to talk about something? And Bill was like, no, I just want to sit there and try to help. Now, granted, he helps, as far as a checkbook and giving a charity and everything like that, but he wants to sit there and do something more personal to one person to try to do something to better this person's life to help this person. And listen, I haven't been watching the show that long. I don't know exactly how altruistic. You get what I'm saying? Just how I'm just not really good as far as trying to pronounce words right now, so I'm just not going to try. But I don't know exactly just how generous this guy can actually be. I mean, hell, 1 second. Yeah, so I don't know exactly how generous he is. Now, he did sit there and say a comment when he started talking to Lee, and he was like, oh, well, I guess, listen, since we're not going to sit there and do a back and forth conversation, we'll just talk about my favorite subject, which is me. I laughed at that. But again, I don't know exactly how charitable this guy is. Now they start talking about Steffi. They start talking about Finn, and what shape Steffi's in, and how Ridge and Taylor are flying all the way out to I have no idea where. Sit there and check on Steffi, even though that she has a therapist and a staff full of people to sit there and help. These two got to sit there and fly all the way out there to sit there and check on her. Check on her. Okay, sure. Now Lee is overhearing everything. Finn's death and everything like that. And after a while, something starts to click and it triggers her. She goes in the room and Liam turns around and he's like, Lee, what's going on? Why what's you're looking at all the show and everything like that? What's going on? Tells Bill, hey, listen, I know her. That's Lee. That's Finn's mom and everything like that. So, Bill kind of picks up the pieces as far as grandchildren and things of that nature. And, you know, Liam and Finn, Liam and Bill, like, listen, I'm sorry about Finn and everything like that and such a tragedy. But they started talking about Sheila also. And one of the words that came out of her mouth was Sheila. And the next thing was Finn is still alive. Now, of course, they said that at the end, literally at the end, and it was just like, hey, we're doing this again, right? We're doing this again, just like yesterday when she was gonna say something, and then she didn't say anything, and then um, nothing really happened at that point. She just kind of just shut down and was offered tea or coffee or something like that in the morning. So I'm like, yeah, I really need to ask this general question of what people still see in this show. Um, yeah, when I sit there and say that, I don't say it sarcastically. I know there are some good moments. There are some very funny moments. Hell, my favorite moment, of course, is the Eric and Donna scene. When he realizes that his equipment still works. I think that is the funniest thing I've ever seen in a soap opera in my entire life. And every time I think about it, it reminds me, I gotta sit there and try to go on YouTube and find that clip again because that is just hilarious. Um, I did this twice, so I may sit there and want to repeat myself. So, Taylor and Ridge are both going to fly down there to wherever to go and see Steffi because reasons. I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. I actually tell you, every time you start talking about Steffi over and over again, she's this, she's that, she's strong, she's vulnerable. It's like, oh my god! It gets to a point it starts to get not just repetitive, but annoying. Oh my goodness, it gets annoying. Um, so Deacon, catches up with Taylor before she leaves, and they start talking for a little bit, and realizes that she's going to be flying out to see her daughter. So Deacon's like, all right, cool. Listen, I look forward to seeing when you get back. And Taylor's like, oh, I don't think it's a good idea for us to see each other. I'm like, what the hell? What's going on? So, Deacon comes to the conclusion, it's Ridge, isn't it? You're still hung up on Ridge. Oh, well, there's a lot going on. I was like, no, 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 no. What happened was you tried to play house with a married man. And reality set in when he decided he wanted to go back to, his wife. And now you're just in, I don't know, disbelief or whatever. And you don't want to sit there and anger, the big bad Ridge by hanging out with, you know, um, Deacon. And he was like, yo, listen, he doesn't get to sit there and dictate your life. No one does. What happened with you and Ridge is done. And he chose, and, at the end of the day, he doesn't get to sit there and choose who you decide to see or not see. He makes her laugh or whatever, and she's all like, "Oh, well, right now I just gotta sit there and focus on my daughter or whatever." And I'm like, "Your daughter is in a clinic. She's with people. She's with trained professionals. You're acting like she got arrested in some foreign country or something." I listen. I'm not a parent, so I can't sit there and I can't attest to the love between a parent and a child. Okay, and I get it. Even when they get older, they're still going to be your baby. I get that. But when they get on a plane and they start talking about Steffi and oh poor Steffi and she's struggling and this, that, and the third, one, it get obnoxious as hell. And two, they're sitting there acting like she is this delicate little flower. She lost her husband. Okay, she's going to be grieving and have a troubled time. They're sitting there acting like she's going to turn into dust or something. It just those two get so annoying. I don't understand what was the point of Zendaya actually being in this episode. Okay, the only thing he said to Ridge was tell her that we're all pulling for her, and we want her to get better as soon as possible. Okay, and then that was it. It was just like, bro, there was really no point of you actually being on set. But sure, whatever. So that happened. Now Ben, once again, isn't that they're trying to talk to a sociopath, isn't that they're trying to reason with her. But he comes at it with a different approach. Listen, isn't it they're talking about you love me, this, that, and the third, you do anything for me? Let me go. Let me go sit there and see my family. Let me go sit there and see Steffi. She thinks I'm dead. She's probably worried. I want to see the children. I want to see my wife. I want to see my family. You took away my mother. So, like, can you at least do this for me? Now, of course, Sheila was all like, listen, you need to sit there and we got to set some ground rules, okay? Because I don't want to sit there and keep putting you to sleep. But you can't sit there and be acting that way. Because, you don't want to rush your recovery and have a relapse or something. So, of course, all his talk to her to sit there and try to get her to see reason and logic. And all Sheila keeps sitting there doing is playing the blame game. Oh, it wasn't my fault. Lee decided to, double cross me, and Finn and Steffi decided to sit there and berate me. She tricked me into that alley and she berated me. It was her fault. I didn't mean it to happen. It's the usual same BS that, you're typically dealing with when you deal with Sheila. Sheila Carter and Carter. Just noticed that. So yeah, nothing really changes between those two. Except for she doesn't put him to sleep. Well, she doesn't put him to sleep yet. They're hoping like, bro, hopefully you can build up some sort of tolerance to that, and you can sit there and try to fight her off like, Jason did when he was patient 6 or something. I'm not even gonna lie. Partly when Lee decided to talk, it was like, oh, now you're talking. When it's like 17 minutes on the clock. Now you decide to open up. But I'm like, all right, whatever. She suffered a trauma on a psychological level. And it was because he kept talking about Sheila and Finn and being dead and Stephanie and stuff like that that kind of, you know, snapped her back into reality. So, okay, sure, whatever. Um, I just love how it just came right towards the end, like, really. But then again, yesterday was like she was going to say something and then nothing happened, and today she's just total silence. This show is just, this show is something else. I feel like that's pretty much about it. Nothing else magically happened. So, yeah. Anyway, with that being said, I'm going to go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. And I will see everyone in the next video.